Happy Friday, Victor.
Why did we schedule this for a Friday? Whose idea was it to schedule this for a Friday?
I believe it had something to do with your schedule, too.
Okay, maybe.
So we started on Monday with the residential folks, and we're back at it to close out the week talking to our people.
You know, it gave us a time to talk about it on Monday and reflect on life and be here Friday.
Is that what we did?
No, not really, but I'm just throwing that out there as a reason. We got out there.
Hey, in the chat, I got a note out there in the chat. Put your favorite sales movie or your favorite sales book in the chat for all to see. Just kind of post it up there.
Let's see.
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy's always up there, right? Tommy Boy's always up there.
It's my second favorite. They know Glenn Ross is my first. What else? How about you?
I think The Big Short is, I don't know why I love that movie. I know it's not a sales movie,
yeah,
but there's something about the part with the Jenga set. Do you remember the part with the Jenga? And he's explaining these tranches, which are these mortgages that are resold.
Right.
And I'm a nerd for like great sales pitches, so I was like, I love that Jenga set. And then he shows it collapsing. It was good.
I used to have a giant collection of videos. They were CDs actually that I cut down and burnt. My son helped me when he was doing all that hacking that he used to do.
Right.
And I'm going to find some of them and share some of the old clips from all the old movies, right?
Yeah.
That I think I still have it somewhere. I'm going to try to dig through it and share it tonight with you folks. But
maybe we should do that as part of like our intro. You know, we do the top winners.
Yeah.
Just pick like a sales movie and use it as a background. That's a good idea.
Glenn Ross, Boiler Room. Who moved my cheese? I don't know that one.
Really, Neri? Neri, really? Who
Wolf,
moved my cheese?
Who
moved my cheese? By the way, get him off the broadcast. Just get him off the broadcast. Take Neri Roca. Who moved my cheese?
I thought that was like a book that we had to read back a long time ago.
Get him off the broadcast.
Throw him off.
Get him off the broadcast.
Boot him. Boot him. What else? McDermott, post up your favorite. Come on, man. You got to write. Or maybe you don't read sales books anymore because you're the GOAT. Post something up there. Quit talking to me. I can't hear you.
We got Ray Sato looking serious with the stash. Ray, I see you, man. Just looking serious, man.
Sharp.
I like
Jeremy,
that.
there's BB, Brandon Blankenship. Yeah, man.
Cornell W in the car, got the tight collar.
Who else we got out there?
I see
Brian
Cornell.
Zeck's in the house. Omar's there. Michael's there. Jim Butler's there.
All right, let me see what we got.
Ryan Williams got the shades
by the way,
on, man. He's
is
just
it
like
possible to be
low.
I just want to know, is it possible to be branch 721 and be the only guy on there?
Yeah.
Is it possible to be
I don't know. Jim Butler's in 714. There's Jeff Mossinger.
Barry Polk.
He runs.
That looks like a high school picture, the way you're
dude.
posed there, man. It looks like a high school picture. Like
David, we got a lot of folks. We got a lot of folks in the house.
Let's see, what else? Oh, my man.
Michael Burns.
Jeb Blunt, Fanatical Prospecting. Great book, by the way.
There you go.
Everybody loves Glenn Ross.
Who put that up there?
Who's that?
Oh, Bobby put that up there.
Bobby Chauvin.
Bobby Bundles out of Colorado.
Bobby Bundles.
That's his nickname.
Is it?
It's his nickname.
Okay.
He's driving the Bundles.
No other ones? Come on, guys. Some other sales movie besides this, besides Tommy Boy.
Used cars. Cadillac Man, Robin Williams. Oh, I got that clip. I'll share that clip with you tonight.
But it was Cadillac Man, right?
Cadillac Man was Robin Williams.
Oh,
when he tries to close the lady at the hearse when she's burying her husband. I got that clip. I will send that tonight.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But anyway,
that's
good
crazy.
folks out there.
What else is happening?
By the way, as far as books, I love my new favorite book is The Jolt Effect. It's been there for like a year or two now.
You did a podcast with that dude, right?
I think
Matt
we
Dixon. Shared that a little bit.
Yeah, so Matt, I love The Jolt Effect. It was kind of a, if you like the Challenger sale, The Jolt Effect fits real nice. Your favorite book again?
It's the Sales Bible. They know that. I've shared that before, but we're going to talk about this one in a little bit.
J.G. Gittimer.
Mr. Gittimer.
The king of sales, the self-proclaimed king of sales.
The self-proclaimed king of sales from Jersey. Yeah. Selling copiers. Isn't that what he cut his teeth on?
Did he
Something
do that?
like that. Yeah. Anything else happening?
Jay Mossy says door to door. Amazing. Mike Palermo says The Pursuit of Happiness. Why am I not surprised he would put that in there?
I love that movie.
I mean,
that's such a great
story. Is it a
story.
sales movie?
He's a sales guy.
Is it a sales movie?
And he works he sells his tail off to get that job.
I don't know. I think Mark Palermo put stuff in there just to really piss me off.
He's got a nice soft heart, though, that Mike Palermo guy. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's another side to this Palermo character.
I talked to him this morning. I talked to him last night. Okay. He's got quite the story he'll tell you one day about what happened to him yesterday.
Look forward to it.
What else we got? Anybody else?
Man.
No, good crowd, man. Let's get going. Let's get after it. We got a bunch of stuff to get into.
Anthony Cole, what's happening? I see you, man.
So let's talk, Victor, about sales performance. Commercial. We're going to focus on commercial. These are our commercial account managers. Let's focus on commercial sales performance last month. So June, really, really nice month. Local commercial sales in the month of June were up 12% year over year. National and national team sales combined, we had a little bit of a slip, Victor. We were only up 8%. in June. But there's a story behind that. We had 2 monster national account team sales a year ago, so you just can't overcome that history in 1 month. We'll spread that out over a quarter.
Yep.
And then, but total, when you roll all the commercial sales together for the month of June, we were up 11%.
Nice.
11% year over year.
Double digits.
Again, the same double-digit growth that continues.
Double digits.
Really,
yeah.
since COVID, we've been getting after it. Year to date, our local commercial sales across the country are up 7%. Our team sales, if you aren't on this bandwagon, you're not jumping all over this, our national account team sales for the year, for the first 6 months of this year, are up 40% over last year. I mean, that's just incredible performance out there. Total, when you roll it all together, the company, through the first 6 months of the year, up 11% year over year. Again, strong double digits. Victor, that represents $115 million
Baby.
in commercial sales delivered by y'all out there, and just ring the bell. And
Great numbers.
Speaking about ringing the bell, you know, it doesn't matter if you make all these sales, you got to make some profit, right? You got to make some money.
Got to make some money.
And we are on profit plans. So we had a meeting with the big cheeses, all the DPs this week. Between my visits with you Monday and Friday, I got to hang out with all the division presidents and some of Pat's staff, and we kind of did a mid-year deal, kind of looking where we've been the first 6 and where we got to go the next.
Did you walk in a little cocky?
No, I didn't.
Did you walk in a little cocky?
I'm never cocky.
Had a little bounce in your step.
I am not that guy.
Killing the number, double digits.
But what's nice about going to those meetings
is
when you're on plan, they're a lot smoother than if you're not.
They're a lot nicer.
I've been in them meetings where halfway through you're not on plan, and it's not so pleasant. Everybody was happy. Everybody was smiling. Everybody was in a great mood. So just a great get together.
Are you a good golfer?
No, I play golf twice a year.
Okay. All right.
We did play golf, and that was a disaster.
Okay.
The 95 degrees. You know, somehow we decided to play golf at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Atlanta.
Oh Lord.
And
yeah, that's harsh.
It was steamy and humid, and you know, I think golf should be like 12 holes. I think that's enough.
I like playing just 9.
Yeah, I
like those par 3s, 9s only.
These guys we played 18 holes, and
isn't that something?
I was exhausted by the time we were done. I just wanted to go to bed.
I'm exhausted hearing about you being exhausted.
Hey, on top of that news, I shared out in my message last night. There was some really good news that happened yesterday to the Rollins Company, right? So we had our earnings release, and they had the investor call that happens every quarter, kind of sharing the results of what happened in Q2, and then get all the investors coming on and doing the questions. That's part of what you have to do as a public company. So we had our call yesterday, and after that call, crazy stuff happened. Our stock went up 5.2% yesterday, went all the way up to 58.03.
Nice.
Just screamed up, based on, quite frankly, the results that these folks have delivered.
Yeah.
Double-digit increases in residential pest control, double-digit increase in termite and ancillary, and double-digit increases in commercial, and just driving the bejesus out of profit. I mean, those calls can go different ways, right? Yeah. But not only is it great news internally, but Wall Street looks at it as great news. Investors, so you know, just crazy. I haven't looked at it yet today.
It's like the quarter after quarter. Yeah. Numbers are just crazy with this company.
When you think about our stock, it just as an example, that at the beginning of the year, we were like at $41 a share, $42 a share.
Okay.
We're at 58.
Oh my gosh.
In 6 months.
So you could retire.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our little secret. I'm going to do that, Victor. I'm going to do that.
I like the way your brain had to calculate that response.
I got to be careful how I say that. Yeah. But no, just fantastic. Just outstanding. And if you didn't catch it, you can catch that broadcast and listen to that if you so choose to. We happened to watch it, Victor, with all the DPs. Pat said, let's just not watch it, listen to it. We just listened to the audio yesterday. It was about 35, 40 minutes long. If you have some idle time, go back and check it out. But just great message by Jerry Galoff and Ken Krause as they were sharing that message.
Ken and Jerry.
Ken
and Jerry.
You almost got me in trouble last broadcast. Yeah. So it's Ben and Jerry, Ken and Jerry, or Tom and Jerry.
I said Ken and Jerry like the ice cream. Yeah, Ken and Jerry.
But it's Ken and Jerry. So, no, just outstanding. So in addition, Victor, to all of those really, really strong company-wide numbers and certainly stock performance, we had 23 of our account managers get paid on $75,000 last month. What should we do?
Roll that video.
Roll that video. these videos, these guys.
What's up with the surf? What's up with the surfing thing?
Well, it's summertime. I know neither one of us surf.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the guys on the West Coast probably like that.
Well, the East Coast, they got surfers on the East Coast,
Do
too.
they?
Yeah.
Do they really have surfers on
My
the East
son-in-law
Coast?
grew up in Wilmington. He's a surfer in North Carolina.
Is he?
Yeah.
I remember you asked me if I surfed. Being from Chicago, he asked me if I surfed.
Well, we don't surf in Youngstown either, baby. There's no surfing on Lake Erie, I'll promise you that.
Oh, man.
But,
Great
man, look at Jay Peters. This is crazy.
JP.
Almost $138,000 got paid on.
Yep.
I asked Mike Palermo to give me a little color on that, right?
Right.
And he said that he sold 5 gold medal accounts.
Nice.
Or got paid on 5 gold medal accounts in the month of June.
Nice.
I mean, just crazy.
He's working.
Crazy. Think about that, folks. Do 20% of 140,000. I'm not a mathematician, but that's a pretty good commission.
That's good money, man.
Pretty good.
Garrett, Wiffle ball.
Wiffle
did
ball,
well.
the Pittsburgh Yinzer.
Yep, did
always
well.
there. Always there.
Scott Foster.
Dude, how did we do that? Scott, you tried to show me that Hawaiian
man.
shit like
Scott
that. Is that
Foster's
it?
killing it. Yeah, I think that's it right here.
He's back to back. I think he's 3 months in a row on that
Is it?
list. Billy Bamonte's
By the way,
always there.
have we had anybody? Have you tracked if anybody consistently has hit it every month?
We have not had anybody hit it every month.
Every month?
There's a bunch of guys that are 5 out of 6.
Even like Jason Civittoni?
No, there's a bunch of guys that are 5 out of 6. This is not an easy get, this 75.
I thought Jason for sure with the little Peaky Blinder hat would have gotten that.
He does wear those little hats.
Yeah, the little Peaky Blinder hat.
I saw a picture of him out yesterday on their group meet. He was out with Angie Almonte, his RSM. And Jason was looking. He had his little pinky blinder or binder?
Yeah, blinder.
Blinder. I don't watch TV, you know. He had his little hat on, and he had his tie on. He had his Orkin blue shirt. I was so proud of him. I think they might have just posed for the picture.
By the way, what is the official name? Do you guys know the official name of that type of hat?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? Is it a peak?
The little
peaky
pink
thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
Irish
it's a
guys
peaky.
wear them all the time. Who else you see on there?
Michelle King out of Florida.
That's a newer name. That's
Love
a newer
that.
name. Hey, I don't want to miss Ismail, right? Rios out of Orlando. That was a huge. Again, talking about these team sales.
Yeah.
That was a monster Sourcewell sale that he got involved in down there.
Okay.
Some kind of water group or something down there. Just
Nice,
crazy.
nice.
Who else you see?
By the way, these people need. Nick says it's a fedora. No, it's not.
It's not a fedora.
Mike Palermo says a pompadour. Okay,
It's
who
not
are
a
these
pompadour.
people?
You guys don't know what you're talking
yeah, I don't
about.
know. Okay, who else is on here? Chris Pierce. You
The
know,
GOAT.
I like Chris Pierce. I like him, but come on, man.
He's the greatest Orkin commercial salesman ever.
Not this month.
Victor, he's got like 37, 38 presidents.
I said it, Chris.
plaques.
I said it. Come find me. I said it. Yeah.
He's a heck of a lot bigger than you.
Is he? Oh,
Yeah,
geez,
well,
okay.
yeah. What you mean.
Aiden Baker.
That's a newer name. I think maybe that's 2 trips.
I've not seen that one.
2 trips.
Yeah.
Michael Wallinger out of Tacoma. That's, I think, his 2nd or 3rd trip. Jen Kane, popping back in there in New Jersey. My guy out of Youngstown, BC, Brian Clark.
By the way, can't miss David Nunez in there.
Amen.
Adam Humphrey.
Adam Humphrey.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, he's getting
back
off
to
his
harass us.
backside.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised
he's
he's
off his
not on one of
backside
these
down.
harassing us.
Yeah.
Who else?
That's
Hey,
it.
this is a cool story out of York, PA.
Which one?
Ryan Dosinger. He's only been with us since October. Yeah, had a couple
really?
months worth of training, so he's only been in the field 6 months. He was pretty excited when he hit that list.
That's a nice one.
Jordan Hopper out of Dallas. That's a new name for me as well. So shout out there.
Look at this guy, Matthew Middlestat out of Ocala, Florida.
Ocala, Florida.
Like, what's in Ocala?
I believe that's like horse country.
Is it horse country?
I think it is. I'm pretty
If
sure
the
it's
man
horse
can
country.
make it in horse country, so can you.
And Tara Workman out of Memphis commercial. She's becoming a very consistent performer there.
Is she? Okay, well done.
Just outstanding.
Good numbers, good numbers.
We're probably missing folks.
Congratulations, Jay Peters again, man. That's a great number.
Bonkers. The one thing I want to point out about this list, and every once in a while I get to looking at the list and trying to analyze it.
Yeah.
But as I'm looking at this list, we got Boston to Hawaii represented. We got St. Paul all the way down to Dallas. We got Tacoma, Washington, all the way down across diagonally across the country to Jacksonville, and then all these points in between. So, I guess my message would be $75,000 paid on seems like a big hurdle. You know, I can't do it in my turf. I can't do it in this turf. These folks are from all over the country. It's never, ever the territory. It's always the man or the woman that's out there getting after it and throwing up these numbers. So it's just crazy. I mean,
great numbers.
Just bonkers. If
Yeah,
you can
I
make
mean,
it in Youngstown, Ohio, and Ocala, Florida, you can make it anywhere.
But
Is that like the New York song or something?
I have no idea.
Yeah. What else?
I'm just saying, these numbers, these quarter to quarter in, growth, it's just amazing numbers. You don't see that a lot. Like I said, I'm being redundant here, repetitive. I talk to a lot of companies. You don't see these numbers. So congratulations. Sincerely, I joke about it, but these are just incredible numbers every month.
Yeah, it's interesting when you listen to those earnings calls the questions that, so these big investment firms that ask questions. So there's a Q&A at the end.
Right.
It goes as long as they do their spiel, they present the numbers. But there's like a 20-minute session. It's interesting, the question. I think some of these investors are kind of surprised at the consistency of what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're wondering how we're doing it, because Rent-A-Kill's numbers are going to come out at July 31st.
Right.
And folks, they won't be anywhere near.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what they are yet, but they're not going to come anywhere near. And if you look at our stock performance compared to theirs, our stock, I looked at it last 10 years, it's like up 340, 50%. Yeah. If you had Rent-A-Kill stock and you got it 2 years ago, you've lost half of your investment. So again, that's that old throat punch Thursday that was yesterday. Yeah. They're down, man. Just keep punching them.
I asked you this question off camera, and that is, how many straight quarters has Orkin had, where there's been growth?
Yeah, we've had one miss in the Rollins, right? Because Rollins is our reporting vehicle, the parent. We've had one miss really since we came back out of COVID. That's after a string of 30 or 40 consecutive quarters. I mean, we are a Wall Street darling.
I mean, if you did like a 10-year window on this thing, it'd be interesting to see how many quarters.
Smoking, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
there might have been 2 or 3 misses in 10 years. Wow. Just crazy. And again, that reminds me to remind you that as you're making money, as you're making more sales, bump that 401k contribution up maybe 1%. You can move it every month if you choose to. You bump it up when you're making some commissions, bump it up in the busy time that really doesn't happen commercially. Yeah. And then remember, it's too late to get involved in the stock purchase plan, but get involved in that stock purchase plan when that open enrollment comes in December. Because folks, if you were involved in that stock purchase program that we have, where you get 10% off the lower of the starting price or the ending price of the period, you bought stock. If you jumped in for the first 6 months of the year, when they purchased the stock, you bought that stock at like $38, maybe $41 per share. And folks, that was in 6 months. It's up to $58. Yeah. So take it that managers, make sure you're educating our people on the advantages of all these investments.
I think one of the, and I can say this because one of the mistakes I made when I was young, and older people told me, when you're young, invest in 401k, especially if they're matching the fund in any way, maximize the max. So young people, listen, money in the 401k.
Amen.
If they're matching it, do you guys match it?
We match up to 6%. We match up to 6%.
Contribute up to 6%, no brainer.
Amen. Amen. Free money. Yep. And that match is in that Rollins stock. We match it in Rollins stock. So if you don't know, if you're not real familiar with it, reach out to somebody and get some help. There's help out there for you. Today, Victor.
Yes.
I thought we would dive into some content. So
let's do it.
I want you to talk about Anthony Iannarino a little bit. Okay. And this guy is Victor knows him very well. Right. And so don't start there.
So Anthony Iannarino wrote a book called Elite Sales. Anthony Iannarino has written several books, actually. One of the things that I like about Anthony Iannarino is that his stuff is dense. By dense, I mean he really is very cerebral. And I joke that he's always like, Xavier in the X-Men, and he is bald too. But what I love about Anthony's stuff, it's well-researched and well thought out. Even if you know the concepts, Anthony has a way of kind of reframing it to give you a different look. In this book, Elite Sales, he talks about this one-up concept. And before I get into it, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that, so I bought this book like a year ago and realized it was pretty deep, right? And didn't think about it much, but I pulled it off the shelf like maybe a month ago is when I sent you the message. So what I do when I fly, and I fly a lot these days, right? What I do when I fly, I put my earbuds in like I'm listening to music or talking to people, and I read. I don't have anything going through my ears, but that putting those earbuds in means nobody can talk to me. People think I'm listening to something.
You're antisocial.
I'm antisocial on a plane, so I can do this. I don't go on the internet. I don't surf. I don't do work. I do this when I'm on a plane. So I'm about like 4 or 5 chapters into this book, and right from the plane, I shot Victor a picture. I said, "We got to talk about this book."
You did.
Here's my stance on this book. It took me a while to get to it, but I've been reading sales, consuming crazy amounts of sales content for 40 years of my life. Right, it's all I do. But what I found about this book is it challenged me. Like, I love stuff that makes me think different, like and put a different spin on it. And he does this. This kind of flips your mind a little bit on maybe we're not doing everything the old way, right? The old 40 years of doing how I do it.
Right.
It challenges you and it makes you think, but when you peel it all back down, that's why I said, Victor, we got to talk about this book.
There's something I admire about you, Ed.
What's that? Oh, this is going to be scary. He's smiling at me when he says that, so this is going to be a bunch of BS.
See, no. It's like, there you went down the rabbit hole. What I was going to say, what I admire about you is that, you still read.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You still consume content. Yeah. And I think, when I don't know what the number is, but I know when I talk to people, and I'm always like, what do you read? Obviously, the older they get, they stop reading, and they stop learning, and they stop adapting and changing. So I just want to say I admire that in you.
Well, I appreciate it. And it's been, there was a period of time, up until like 10 years ago, I started reading again. Okay. I grew up reading, and my kids were great readers, and my wife's a great reader, so I had lots of examples in front of me. But I like to read on a plane. It's really the only time I read. I may crack a book when I'm hanging out with my wife when she's sitting on the beach and that kind of thing, and I'll crack a book and read with her. But
I had I was in Missouri, as you know, last week, and I had a Gen Zer ask me, like, when we took a break from the training, he said, "Do you still recommend reading?" And my brain just locked up. Yeah. Because I go, "Are you messing with me or are you serious?" And he was dead serious. Yeah. I go, "What do you mean do I recommend reading?" "Of course I recommend reading." He says, "Why wouldn't you read?" He goes, No, I haven't read a book in a while. I use videos or podcasts, which there's nothing wrong. Yeah. I think there's something different when you read a book. And by the way, I've tried reading books on my Kindle versus the organic way. I can't get away from the organic way.
I had the same conversation with Cam Glover yesterday. He said, "Do you read?" I said, "Yeah, I read like crazy." He said, "Well, I use my Kindle." I said, "I can't. The paperweights and all that, I can't do that either."
I can't.
That's what my wife does.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
By the way, if I was reading fiction, which I don't read, I would probably use a Kindle. Yeah. But the problem with these, when I read these books, is I'm always marking up. Yep. I got a pen with me, and I'm just marking stuff off. Question mark, don't believe that. Underline, circle that. Yeah. My books are a mess when I'm done with them. Yeah.
Same here. Let's talk about. Anthony has like 9 pillars of this whole concept of being one up and creating value and really becoming that consultative seller, right? We talk about being a consultative seller, but are we really? Talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Let me tee that up. Yeah. So consultative selling is a book written by Mac Hannon, which came out in, we got to look that up. It's I'll just say late 70s, maybe early 80s. So in that book, Mac Hannon talks about how to be on the buyer side. In other words, how to get on the same side as the buyer, and then you're there to consult them. And quick note, Anthony Iannarino was the last one to interview Mac Hannon before he passed away. Just a footnote in history of sales. And so this book kind of takes off from there. And the one-up thing is, we'll start with the first part, which is like one of the pillars I like, is information asymmetry. Now, if you've ever tried to buy life insurance, which I have, and if you've ever been confused, which I have, when I got lost very quickly, which I did because I couldn't understand it. In other words, if height represents what you know, the salesperson was up here and my knowledge of insurance was here. And this gap right here is called information asymmetry. And when that asymmetry exists, people are confused. So they go, you know what, I'm not going to buy because I don't understand. I don't trust myself to make a decision. So what the best of the best do is simplify the information and then educate and then close that asymmetry gap. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and I think in Anthony's book, I mean, one of the things he talks about when you have that, because that should be going on, you should know more than the person you're talking to in your business, right? Yep. You should be educated and locked and loaded, knowing all the ins and outs of everything that we do. But when you have that kind of knowledge, Anthony says one of the first things you got to be very careful of is coming across as too arrogant, right? You don't want to come back as dominating and just talking down to them, because if you get that, they'll never come up to your level. And I guess when you think about that, so you got to find that happy mix to bring them up, drop you down a little bit, so you're not giving up a lot of your power position, right?
You simplify a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think using the Cardone line, eye level is buy level. That's the goal. Is to bring them to you, so you're looking right. Talk a bit about that.
And that's a good line to emphasize, because that's where I first heard it. So again, I don't know if it's Grant's line, but he talked about if the buyer's up here or you're the seller and you're up here and I'm down here as far as knowledge level, eye level is buy level, which means once we're eye to eye, once I understand more, you simplified it, and eye level is buy level, we're more likely to buy.
Amen. And I think sometimes commercial, this really fits for our B2B folks. Okay. We covered a little bit of this book for residential folks, but this is in your sweet spot. I think one of the other things that he talks about taking your one up and maybe going one down is during the discovery, to where you're trying to uncover what's going on with them. You don't want to come across as the expert, and you don't want to say, well, I already heard that before, I already seen it. You want to let them share, right?
Because sometimes we know too much, Ed. Yeah. And it's like we hear the question, and already our brain is racing ahead to give the answer. And you brought up something. You said, let them get it out there. Hit on that one. I thought the way you said it was
So
great.
I think sometimes we get so anxious to jump with our response, right? You know, that better listener, you know, not wait for your turn to talk. But even just think about something as simple as the customer says to you, you know, they've had the same technician, no, they've had a different technician for the past 4 or 5 visits, right? They keep, the turnover is killing me. That's one of their pain points, right?
Right.
You could immediately have in your hip pocket that the guy or gal that's going to service this location for Orkin has been there for 25 years.
Right.
You don't want to spend that yet. You don't want to spit that yet, but we have that hesitation or that anxiousness to say, oh man, we can fix this for you. Wait,
let me get in
let them finish because you might only have in your discovery, that might be only the one thing that you found. You got to find 2 or 3 things because if you have to understand that in this game, commercial, you're in the business of replacing. One thing might not be enough to swing them over to us when we're going to ask for more money. Talk a little bit more about that.
I love what you said because, you know, I'm not trying to divide people here, but it's like when you're a younger salesperson, you're anxious to show what you know, right? There's an impatience that happens. As you get older, you're kind of just more patient. It's almost like you wait in the weeds, right, in the bush, because they're giving you content. They're telling you exactly. If you listen enough, long enough, they tell you how to sell them. And too often we want to jump in there. And so it reminds me, if I can share the story, you ever play Double Dutch?
Yeah.
Okay. See, the visual's horrible right now. But
not me and you playing Double Dutch, that would be horrible.
That would be. So, you know how it's almost like this. They do this, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is you're just waiting to jump in. Yeah. And sometimes I feel that salespeople do that in a conversation. Yeah. They're like, okay, I'm just waiting for you to talk. I'm not listening. Yep. I just waiting for you to talk so I can jump in. Amen. And when the customer feels that, you can just feel this separation, like you're not listening to me. Yeah,
and I think you shortstop yourself if you don't dig deeper, right? So, you know, and people love to talk about their business, love to talk about themselves. So maybe take some of that one-up stance you want to be in strong as a commercial seller and back it down during discovery. I think that makes sense.
Can I add something? And this is something I think you brought up a while back, and I thought was a good point, that we talked about that the longer you take, you know, when you're going through the, let's say, I know I'm talking about, this is commercial, we're talking about home inspection, can apply the same thing, right? That the longer you take, there was almost like a correlation, a positive correlation, right? It was the longer I take, the more likely I am to close. Yeah. You know, because I see the same thing here because I'm listening, I'm not jumping in, I'm not cutting you off, I'm keeping the flow going.
Yeah, my advice on a commercial inspection is you got to spend at least twice as much time as their current technician is spending doing the service. Yeah. Because that'll trigger them like, oh my God, Victor, that dude spent more time looking around than the guy that's doing our service now.
You still here?
Did it?
You're still here?
I mean, think about that. And you know, getting on the roofs and just blowing them away with that piece, right? And all of our stars can tell you that.
And I think that, you know, and I know we're going off track a little bit, but that's a big differentiator in the market today. When everybody's product and service looks the same, that extra time becomes a differentiator.
Amen. Okay. One of the other pillars, I guess, for lack of a better word, I think he does call them pillars, is this unique vantage point and speaking to customers from a unique vantage point, telling them something that they don't know. You know, again, that insight and all those kind of pieces. And when I think about that, I think about, you know, approaching customers ahead of season. You know, flies are going to be going crazy in most parts of the country pretty soon. You know, calling and talking about that. You know, telling them, let's get ahead of that now. Let's do this now. Giving them something different than that they're not getting today. Yeah. You know, speaking to it from there with that knowledge that you've gathered.
I'm thinking because you said something, it's interesting. There's insight, right? We've talked about insight, information beyond the obvious. Tell me something I don't know. Yeah. But the way you just phrase that, you're saying, but also get them to think. It's almost like future casting, right? Yep. Say, hey, this is what's coming. And it's kind of a piece of insight. I never looked at it that way till you just said it. That maybe it's a piece of insight that you're saying, have you thought about this? And you go, no. So, it's only 3 months away. Maybe it's top of mind, that you bring it to top of mind. So insight, I didn't know that. You position yourself as one up. But maybe as you're forecasting out what might happen, brings it top of mind is also a way of maybe attaining that one-up strategy.
And I always use seasonal type things that happen commercially, right? So, you know, a couple months from now, get ahead of the rodent stuff. Right. You know, I want to come on and get ahead of that rodent stuff for you. I think one of the other pillars is this advice and to compel change, right? Right. You know, want to give advice to compel change. The one that I always try to spin and plant in there is, you know, the fact that everybody has an iPhone, everybody's a studio, and everybody has social media. Right. You know, don't end up like Chipotle did with that mouse running around that store in Dallas, Texas. The folks literally got us half of the Chipotle restaurants. That trigger went all the way up the food chain. The reason today that we service Greyhound buses was 10 years ago. They had a video that went viral of the roaches coming out of the, where you put the luggage up there.
Yeah.
That's what triggered Greyhound to call us. And now we have done all of their buses
Wow.
for the last 10 years.
Amazing.
And that's what triggered it. So always trying to plant that seed that, I know they've been, they failed you a couple times.
Yeah.
But Bubba, you can't afford to do this again.
Right.
To compel that change and come from that position with the story like that says, been down this road, man. You don't want to go viral.
No.
You can't give them another chance.
Yeah,
It's
and by the
time
way-
to stop it.
and-
Again,
and-
coming from that one-up position.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
I was going to say, and the corollary to that is you don't want to go viral with the video, but you also don't want the negative reviews.
Absolutely.
Like I said, Ed, I think more and more people, especially me, I'm looking at reviews now. 100%. Even when I book hotels now, I go to the reviews. I never used to do that, but I guess I'm losing faith. I think there was a time we could just assume that if it's a Marriott, for example.
Exactly.
It's a Marriott.
Yep.
If it's a Courtyard, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't trust that anymore, so I find myself now leaning towards reviews. Do you do the same, or is it just me?
100%. And even more important than that, if Cam Glover, our VP of Marketing, did a presentation for the Big Cheeses this week, and he talked. If your Google reviews in your branch aren't 4s, they're not going to. The phone's not going to ring. They're not going to use us. They're not going to call us. They're not going to reach out. And that maybe has a bigger play residentially, but it certainly impacts what you do. So check out your Google reviews in your branch, and if they're not good, seed the deck a little bit, post a review, get something going on.
Yeah.
I have 3 services that I get at the 3 different properties that I've got some ownership in, right? And every time my Orkin Pro goes there, I post a killer review, right? And nobody can tell who I am. It's
Right.
Ed Donahue, right? Maybe they know who I am, but every time that he comes, I post that review so that we keep those scores up, we keep that phone ring, and keep people coming to us.
By
What
the
else?
way, I'd like to hear from you guys. Do you guys look at Google reviews more?
Yeah,
Just put a yes or a no. Just yes. I mean, do you find yourself looking at them more? Or is it me or just my paranoia?
Amen. One other one I think that is vitally important to us, particularly as a commercial sellers, is this pillar of helping clients change.
Yeah.
And I take a lens on that I think too often times we wait for the customer to say yes before we discuss a transition plan. And I think that's such a mistake. I mean, you could go out and you could give the best proposal, the best inspection, the best graph, offer the best solution, and lay it out and give it some nice pricing, right? Share all that. But if you don't talk transition plan until they say yes, I think you're cheating yourself out of business because I promise you, I've thought through this hundreds of times, and as a salesperson, I think these customers want to know.
Right.
So you've done all these great proposals. You've done everything perfect, right? You've done just as we teach it, right? You've done everything perfect. But if you don't talk to the transition plan, you walk out the door, the first thing they're going to be thinking is, oh man, this is going to be a pain in the ass to change.
Yeah.
I didn't think about this. I didn't think about this. How am I going to do this? Man, I really like that guy or that gal. Makes sense. I love what Orkin's doing. I love their price. Every one of you has a proposal out there that the customer has been nodding their head saying, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. And they don't ever buy a damn thing, right? They don't buy anything. They just go radio silent or whatever. But I think sometimes we have to be better. And I would try to convince all of you to talk transition plan before you offer price. And just tell them, look, a lot of my customers think that making this transition can somewhat present some challenges and some difficulties. I use the triple guarantee at the same time, but I think it's very important that you walk them through what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've converted so many customers over to Orkin. Let me tell you how easy we're going to make this for you. I'm going to hold your hand. We're going to do this, 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 and this, so that you plan it, you deal with it, because I think oftentimes that's the objection that never gets surfaced out there. So talk transition before you serve price, so that you finish with your price and you go out of there. Again, they've been nodding their head, they don't buy a damn thing because you didn't make it comfortable, because they'll think about it. And maybe they'll go to their boss. I want to change customers. Well, what are we going? What's involved in that? Oh wait, the Orkin dude told me that, right? Here's what they do. They do this all the time. They have a comfort level. Make sense to you?
I love that. Yeah. Again, we talked about this. That I never thought about putting the how it's going to work. The transition, the friction, the change, in the actual body of the presentation. Till you brought it up. Because I just never thought about it. And what you're doing also, Ed, is like you're blocking an objection. In a very indirect way, because you're saying here's how it's going to work. Like let's say halfway through your presentation, and so as you say, if you don't do that, when you leave, other priorities kick in. But then I think the worst part is when they start thinking about how the transition is going to work, they start, in the absence of information we make things up. We've all heard that. But I think we also amplify. For example, I'm thinking, okay, I hear what Ed was saying, but okay, that means this. And man, working with a contract and just trying to put, well, that's going to be a bear. I'm not doing that. Yeah. And last time we tried to do something like that, and all of a sudden that monster grows in their head, which is why they say, you know what, let's not change, let's stay the same. So I love that you block that objection of how the transition is going to work in the body of the presentation.
And they get paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
And I think
totally
so. It does a couple of things, right? It certainly takes you down that assumptive close, right? Not to be salesy, right? Not to use that term. But you're making the assumption that you're talking to them, we're going to do business.
I wouldn't say I think you're educating them. Here's how it's going to work, right? And obviously, I guess they're underlying, somewhere in there's embedded here's how it's going to work when we work together.
Right.
But I think if you just approach it from, I'm just trying to educate you to kind of reduce that anxiety we always talk about.
Because I truly believe it's the objection that they really won't voice until you leave.
Yeah.
If you don't serve it up.
Those are the ones that always kill you.
So put it out there and deal with it right up front.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know that we've got much more to talk about. We've covered some time on that. But again,
By the way, Robbie says setting the proper expectation is key.
Yeah.
And that's kind of laid in there. It's layered in that statement that, you're setting the expectation of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's another way of saying, well done.
Again,
by the way, a lot of people do actually somebody says, as far as Google's review, somebody says, not more, always as always. Yeah. Like, I just really started doing that. So yeah, interesting.
Amen. Highly recommend the book.
Yes.
Highly recommend the book. And you won't hear me saying that much. I mean, I can.
Anthony's always a good ROI.
Yeah.
He's always a good ROI. So invest.
And just read it and have some patience with it and understand it. I'm challenging it as I'm reading it. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
When you read stuff like that, it's I can flip through a lot of sales books with all these authors out there and I already knew that. I already knew that. I already knew that.
Yeah, knew that.
Same old story. Same old story.
That's what he does differently.
This will shake you up.
Yeah.
This will shake you up. It'll put a new spin on it. So with that, Victor, let's get out of here. I got some housekeeping things to get through, and then we will cut you loose on this Friday. First off, hydrate yourself and hydrate your pros. It's crazy hot everywhere, I think. This heat wave we're having is making the phone ring residentially like crazy, but make sure you're taking care of yourself. And one thing, all the salespeople have received a survey to complete from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, that is the Gary Rollins School of Business. I got a couple of notes back from people thinking it was spam. It's not spam. There have been 3 or 4 alerts that went out through our corporate communications. I've tied it into 2 or 3 of my emails at night. We really need you to participate in this survey. So take the time. It's going to take you 15, 20 minutes. Do it. If you do it for no reason other than you're going to help your peers, please take the time, find the time to complete that survey. We're going to base a lot of what we do moving forward on the results of the 1,853 salespeople that we're surveying. There's no managers involved in this. It's anonymous. We have you ask. I had a question, Victor. This isn't anonymous. They're asking for my name and my branch number. The only reason we're asking for that is to provide geographic reference and a tenure, how long you've been here. None of the answers, I can't even see the answers you're submitting on there. It's that secrecy they got in these universities. So please take care of that. The nightly message I send out, feel free to share that with anybody. A lot of who gets that when you see that at night? Salespeople, RSMs, RMs, and some of the DPs and the ADPs. Your branch managers don't get it. Feel free to share it with them if you choose to. That's a list that goes out to 2,200 people every night. That's about as big as they'll let me build it. So if you want to share that around, please do that. This is really cool. We worked our magic, Victor. I've always been.
You've worked your magic.
I don't know. I think Palermo did most of it. But I've always been of the mindset that our branch managers should buy our salespeople food when they bring them in for meetings. Like buy them bagels, buy them breakfast,
the
buy them
fact
something.
that they weren't doing that, shame on them.
Shame on them.
Shame.
So we just hooked this next campaign by the commercial division into making them buy pizza, right? So next Friday,
it's a start.
We have moved. We have moved what is typically the morning sessions, the technical sessions on what the heck's the name of that stuff? Send services.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do back in that, Sherman Hampton and I went into the studio. And
the Shermanator.
The Shermanator and I went in the studio, and we talked about the opportunities we have with 3 national account vendors that sell pizza.
Okay.
We've got national account endorsements from Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Domino's.
Did you cut a deal?
No, we've got signed contracts. You don't have to worry about pricing or anything on that.
Okay.
But what we've asked you to do, these meetings are going to take place next Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern and 6 o'clock Eastern. The branch managers have to bring pizza in. You can have a little pizza. Maybe you go for pizza and beers after.
Yeah.
But in the branch, just pizza. but we're looking to have fun. I got a note from Mike last night. He said, I'm talking about this. People are excited. Maybe they're just excited that their manager's finally going to feed them. I don't know what that's all about, but we're stoked about that. We're looking forward to kicking that off.
This is but a beginning. I think this should be a beginning of something greater.
And if you got your manager, get your own pizza. Get your own pizza. Get what you want on it. We're not doing plain pizzas, Jeff. We're doing fancy pizzas if they want them. So we'll leave it at that.
After this, steaks for everybody.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a steakhouse thing next. There you go.
Cool.
And the last thing I'll leave you with, we've already set the date for next month's broadcast, sometimes between our calendars, but we worked that out between the broadcasts. Next month, we're going to come to you commercial on August 20th, Wednesday, August 20th. So kind of put that in your calendars as a hold the date, and we will be live then. So until August 20th, what do we got to say to them? Just thanks, man. Y'all are killing it. Keep bringing it. We're having a really, really nice July so far.
Yeah, look at you. He's smiling.
Oh,
great July. I mean, what do you mean a nice July? They're having a great July.
I mean, we're going to have $7-8 million in national account sales this month.
Yeah.
It's bonkers, man. I can't tell you enough what y'all are doing, and it was reflected in Jerry and Ken's notes what you folks are doing
Amazing
to make
numbers.
this engine go.
Amazing numbers.
So appreciate you.
All right.
Get after it. Thank y'all.
Take care, guys.